Had some technical difficulties, but I believe our audio is up right now. If you guys have just been tuning in to our pregame show, we thank you guys for doing that on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Highmark Stadium. Always had some fun memories here, whether it's from the NFL or the high school football. We've had crowned plenty of champions over the past 2+ decades. And for the final time, Francis, we're going to crown 5 more Section 6 champions over the next couple of days.
People, this is the field that these young men have grown up watching their team play on, whether coming to the stadium in the stands or watching from home. This is Josh Allen's office. This is where all the Bills greats played, and they have a chance to become champions on this very field. It's a special moment, win or lose, that they will a memory they will cherish forever.
And this is a game that we're going to see in the next 10 to 15 minutes, Francis. We're going to see a school win their first section title in program history, and on top of that, it's going to be the first Class D championship crowned in Niagara County. And I'm talking about Wilson, the number 2 seed in Class D, taking on the number 1 seed in Newfane. A lot of big storylines. I can go down the list, but we've known for a long time from Week 8 that this could be a championship preview, and that's exactly what we're getting here soon.
Jake, I think we knew from Week 3 or 4 the way these two teams were playing early in the season. We thought they were going to have a big showdown in Week 8 to decide who gets the number 1 seed. We saw Newfane win that game, and that they probably come back right here to decide who would get the final sectional title. These two teams have been really it's been fun to see these communities come together, rally around these teams, and now it comes down to Highmark Stadium and the sectional title.
Yeah, Wilson comes into this battle beating Gowanda Pine Valley last week in the semifinal round. This is their first appearance back to a section title. Remember, they played in 2023. Offensively, they've still been pretty dominant, almost 38 points a game, and just allowing 8.5 points per game. This, I think, key here is going to be for Wilson, the rushing attack. They have at least 4 guys who can run the ball for more than 400 yards on the ground on the year, and they also have those same 4 players that have at least 5 touchdowns or more on the ground this season. Those guys are Michael Rubo, Brock Lepsch, Vic Cusadis, and Nick Lemke. I think that's going to be the key in this one. And then on the defensive side of the ball, Francis, I got a chance to talk to Wilson head coach Bill Atlas. He said tackling. That was the big mishap from their last matchup against Newfane. He thought the game plan did pretty well. Guys were in the right spots they had to be, but if they tackle a lot better than they do in their first matchup against Newfane, he thinks this game's going to be a lot closer considering the close game they had back in Week 8.
Another thing they need to focus on, running the football. Last time these two teams played, the Lakemen only ran the ball 107 yards. That is not going to cut it against an offense like Newfane. They have to get more success on the ground in order to come up with a victory.
And then Media Day that we had here a couple of days ago, all the section teams that are competing for a section title. Wilson got a chance to speak with Joe Kraus earlier this week, as he said this game is going to be as exciting as the first meeting when they took on Newfane.
It's exciting. Last time we had a crowd of 3,000, and that's huge for us. We've never had any numbers like that. So I imagine it's going to be more than that here, but we're focused on the game and what we got to do to win.
So from that clip, Francis, they said in their first meeting they had about 3,000 people at that game. That was at Wilson High School. We're probably going to get at least that here as we see the fans piling in. We're going to probably get that and maybe even more. Some more fans trickling in from the Class C game that's going to happen afterwards. When we think about this as a rivalry between both schools, it's about like a 10, 15-minute bus ride from each school district.
Maybe even less. It might be even less from field to field.
It's a very tight-knit community from 2 communities. These guys have always battled, whether it's been basketball, wrestling, soccer, you name it. When these 2 teams go at it, it's always going to be close, competitive battle. And for this one to be a decisive matter into a Class D championship just takes it up a whole nother level.
Yeah, I think, again, these two teams very close. I think I saw on something on Facebook earlier today, there was a restaurant that said, players from both teams can come back after the game and get a free sandwich from us. That's the kind of community. You don't see that in many other communities, especially maybe some bigger ones across Western New York. But that's how special these two are. Probably one of the biggest in Niagara County. When you look at all those schools in there, there's not many rivalries that have much to go against this one.
Well, we always hear about St. Joe's and Canisius when they battle against each other. I think just with this level of competitiveness and what this means when a championship gets involved, it's going to have, I think, that type of vibe, just atmospheric-wise, as this game gets underway soon. Let's talk about Newfane for a bit. They're one of the couple teams here in Section 6 that are still undefeated, 10-0 overall, 7-0 in Class D. They have the 1 seed. They shut out Silver Creek Forestville 38-0, 312 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns to help them out in that one. So for Newfane, Francis, they've scored 30 points in every game so far this season, and on the defensive side of the ball have given up 20 points in the game twice. That was against Gowanda Pine Valley in Week 7 and against this Wilson Lakeman team they faced in Week 8 to end the regular season. Remember, that was a 33-25 lead Newfane had in the fourth quarter, and then they were able to pull off 13 more points and pull away from that. Depending on how this game goes, if this isn't a competitive game, I don't know what we're doing here, Francis. This should definitely be very close.
Yeah, I think you saw, especially in that second half, I think there was one of the touchdowns. There may have been a missed call, I was told, on that one, and maybe that gets called. It's a different ball game. So I think this Wilson team certainly knows that the score isn't quite indicative of how good they are compared to Newfane. And obviously the key for the Lakemen is to stop Matt Capon, one of the top quarterbacks in Western New York. He's one of Western New York's leading rushers as a quarterback. You do not see that too often. That is almost unheard of, and he rattled off a couple of touchdowns. He has 875 yards passing, 10 touchdowns, go along with 1,400 yards rushing and 23 touchdowns. This guy, I came to the epiphany. His name is Capon because he wears a cape. And he is Superman on the field for Newfane. Superman
mentality. And, hey, if you don't take our word for it, take it from Newfane's word. Head coach Chuck Nagel spoke. See who he spoke with, Joe Krause as well, on why this offense, along with Matt Capon, has been so special this season.
Well, it starts with our leader, Mac. He's a dynamic athlete. He's big, strong, fast. He's also a great leader. And the kids love playing with him, playing for him. And it starts with Mac. We have a very young offensive line. We have two sophomores, 2 juniors, and a senior. We have an outstanding offensive line coach in Connor Hill who was able to get these guys together in the spring and find out where we were with our line, and you got them clicking in the right spots, and they're playing real good football right now.
And as you heard from Coach, it's not just Capon, it's the offensive line. And when you are a Class D school, C, B, a lot of that is battle of the trenches. How are they going to do against this Wilson squad? You win that, you're going to win this game. But I will also say this. We first got to look at Matt Capon when he was doing his interviews on Media Day. There's a reason why Wilson and a lot of our schools are having a hard time tackling this guy. He is big, he is tall, he is shifty. He will be a huge factor in this game as Newfane tries to win their first section title.
That's right. Already has a couple offers. I think UAlbany was talking to him, probably not as a quarterback, certainly could be a tight end or wide receiver at the next level, but a huge kid for sure, and that is someone that Wilson needs to stop.
Yeah, and we're going to see how this game's going to go. Both teams are trying to get prepped and ready for their introductions. And as Francis, as we introduce to everyone here, Section 6 football for today and tomorrow, this isn't going to be the only time that we're able to discuss about teams that are going to be playing here at Highmark Stadium.
Yeah, we want to thank our sponsors for making this happen. Right now, you're obviously watching the Richmond Vona pregame show. We're going to do pregame shows for all 5 games this weekend, and then we're going to be back at halftime for the Wingnuts halftime show. Again, all 5 games. And then at the end of the game, we're going to have the G&G Fitness post-game show, all 5 games for that as well. So, yeah, we're going to be here all weekend long. We're also going to put out some, highlights and some pictures on throughout the games as well, sponsored by Damon University. So we want to thank our sponsors for making this possible. And, of course, folks, if you don't know already and you want to watch the game and you're not here in person, you can catch the full thing on the NFHS Network You do have to get a subscription, of course, but one subscription gets you all 5 games and the games in the next few weeks as well. So if your team makes it all the way to states, you're already taken care of.
What should be a fun game? You heard the roar of the crowd from both teams, and our good buddies in Carson Hayek and Stu Boyer will be on the broadcast for this one. This should just be a phenomenal game. This is the first game we're getting, and it's really going to be an intense battle that we're going to see, and it's going to lead up to all the other games we'll have. So this has been our Richmond Vona pregame show. We'll come back for the halftime show and see how both these teams will battle it out from the first 2 quarters of the Section 6 Class D championship game.
At Richmond Vona, we are seriously dedicated to bettering the communities that we serve. You will get super high-level communication, and you are getting a team of dedicated attorneys, paralegals. If you put your trust in us and hire us, we promise to take care of everything. Call us as soon as possible so we can start the investigation to fight to get you the settlement you deserve.